Hello and welcome to the AstraCast. My name is Brad. I will be vaguely hosting this thing. We are a podcast primarily talking about Warhammer 40,000 and adjacent topics, so we'll branch into Age of Sigmar, that kind of stuff. I am joined here tonight by...
DarkMouse.
And Mataspore.
Awesome. So I thought the best way to introduce each of ourselves by what armies we've played and that kind of thing. So who'd like to kick us off?
Go on, I know you want to.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. Cool. So I start with Tyranids, which is obviously the best army ever.
Yeah.
Just going to put that out there.
I'll disagree with you later on.
Not now, though. That's the
fighting
important
time
thing.
is after the introductions.
We are after the introductions. We've said our names. Cool. No, I do primarily Tyranids, and I've been with Tyranids since like 4th edition, I believe. Yeah, late 4th edition, early 5th edition.
Awesome.
I've seen it through quite a bit.
Cool. Mataspore.
All right. Well, I'm Mataspore. I, much like DarkMouse, did actually start with Tyranids, primarily because I was young and stupid at the time, and the image of an all-devouring alien swarm appealed to me. My tastes refined as I grew up, unlike some people. And
Later.
And now, I switched over to Dark Elder for a taste of something new. I very much enjoyed it. And since they've appeared on the field, I've been a Ynnari player and having quite a lot of fun with it.
Awesome. So I'm probably best as kind of a general Imperial fanboy. I started with Space Marines, those noble sons of Macragge, the Ultramarines, back in late 3rd edition. And I've pretty much played them all the way since. Have a small guard army and a few other Imperial forces, but yeah, I am a Imperial fanboy. God save the, we'll save the immortal Emperor of mankind.
Or we could just eat him, that too. You know, that was
I mean, as much as I'm an Imperial fanboy, he is mostly bones at this point, so he's not the most tasty.
It's still biomass, it's still interesting DNA. We could do something with that.
I mean, you don't want to eat. There's some Eldar. I'm sure they haven't got too much meat on the bone, but you know.
It's a guiding light of it's a guiding light of the Emperor that's actually drawing us in. So
that is true. It's essentially a giant bug zapper without the zap.
Yeah, because it was never supposed to be a long-term solution.
Nope. And it's drawing us to you.
Excellent. So the vague format of the show is we're going to have a bit of discussion of the latest news coming out of Games Workshop, mostly from the community sites and various other places on the internet, and then we'll fall into our kind of a main discussion topic for the show. Obviously, the only real news to talk about this week is the stuff coming out of the Vigilus Weekender. So, guys, what were people's thoughts on Vigilus Weekend?
I think it had some nice reveals. I particularly enjoyed the Gene Stealer cultist. I don't normally like the impure.
Oh, with the map.
Yeah, the map, which was quite nicely a drawing of Warhammer World from above. I think that was very cool.
Yeah, my inner cartographer was like, "Ooh, I need that model."
Yeah. It just goes to show how much humor and how creative the design team is actually getting, and how much effort they've gone into to making something that looks cool. It not just has a map of somewhere from our century in it, but looks like it belongs in the 41st millennium as well.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that they've got the rhino that is outside of Warhammer World. It helps they've got a rhino outside Warhammer World. But yeah, no, it's really good. Even like the little details, like the crossed out Aquila. It just looks very functional and something that would exist in the universe.
Yeah, and it you can tell it's like stolen tech as such, because they've got it hooked up to a little battery pack.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, actually, it looks almost like a Ghostbuster ghost trap, to be honest.
I have always thought that, because it's very similar to the Guard las cannons power packs as well. Bastion ones.
Who are you going to call? Not the Guardsman.
What? What do you mean we can't fix bayonets and attack ghosts with bayonets?
Well, you can. It just won't end well for you.
Nope.
Then again, your guardsman, it never ends well for you.
Very end. Unless you'd like, actually, no, not even the Gaunt's ghosts. They get, yeah. Okay.
What do we think about the Noise Marine that came out?
I like it. It's heretical as...
It does seem to very, very much fit with that quite old meme at this point of this quiet offends Slanesh, because that outfit is about as loud as you can possibly get.
Yeah, and that's, without the...
That's before he starts
shredding.
playing the bloody guitar.
Yeah, which has a bolter
appears to have
built
a
into
bolter
it.
on the bottom.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a grenade launching guitar. That's awesome.
I mean, when you compare it to the model it's based on, the one from 2nd edition, it's a very, very faithful reconstruction.
Absolutely. I think they've really hit the mark with what they need to go for with Slanesh.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's not like a horribly pink, gaudy model that just screams and clashes with itself.
No, it's a super fabulous murder machine.
Yeah, absolutely. The colours all sync up nicely. It's got a nice feel to it. It's loud, like you said, but it's not clashy. It fits within the frame of what it's supposed to express. I think they've done a bang-up job with it.
I've just thrown the 2nd ed version of that model in the chat, and it's a very close recreation.
Oh, absolutely! Yeah.
Yes. They've done a cracking job. For any listeners, we do have all these links will be in the show notes at the end. So yeah, no, very, very cool model. Probably won't pick one up myself, but yeah.
What I'm sad to see is that this isn't like this is a teaser for a box set. It's kind of this is a one-off model we're doing for you for Christmas, and it's like,
it's just look at the pretty, look what we've done.
Yeah, it would be nice if it. I mean, I'm imagining that they're using this to test the water. So if lots of people buy it, then they'll produce more of it. Now, this isn't me saying that everybody that wants Noise Marines back go out and buy this miniature, but the implications there.
It gives them an idea of what the community wants, and I think there is something like a 2-year lead time. It's 2 years to get a model from concept art to store shelves. So
this sad thing we call reality.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we're not waiting 2 years for Emperor's Children. There is some cool things they could do. I like the idea. I think we'll go into it when we touch on the Wrath and Glory stuff, but the Herald with the harp. Jesus Christ, that is so Slanesh, but so awesome. Yeah. I really do like the idea of them also broadening out into, because Slanesh is not just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It is a big part of it, but there's a...
Well, no, it's you have to say it was Slanesh, don't you? It's excess in all shapes and forms. So, greatest artwork in the world, most divine torture techniques that probably involve somewhere.
Yes, I mean it was the Eldari murder too much that gave us Slanesh in the first place. So it's got to be in the aesthetic.
And
I think that took us about 5 minutes to get to R-rated content.
Lagging off, people. Yeah!
Yay!
Remember, kids, if you're too young for it, you don't want Slanesh.
This is true. What I was actually going with that is I'd quite like to see... I don't know how they do it, because kind of being fat and obese is kind of Nurgle's thing, but you could end up with Slaneshi cultists who are, Oh
yeah, you could definitely do it's quite easy, honestly. You have them corpulent and stuffing their faces with whatever. You don't have their guts spilling out and their flesh an odd shade of green.
Yeah, to be fair.
That's a fair point.
You can still do corpulent, like Daniel says, just like Mataspore says, just do it.
Well, what you do is you get the old model of Grecius Goldtooth. He's an old ogre model. There's this giant, tremendously fat guy on a palanquin being carried around by people. That's a Slaneshi champion. There you go.
That there is just as good as for Slaneshi. You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if we keep scrolling on down the page, we are now down into the Imperium Nihilus, Vigilus Defiant. I loved the Will of My Father video. It was fantastic. I was chatting to another mate who plays, and it's like, did you see the Calgar video where they were going, I am Calgar, I am this great hero, and then there's just Duncan at the end going, and this one time I charged a bunch of immortals and I rolled a 6, and then they overwatched and they all hit, but then my invulnerable save, it's like, oh my god, that was beautiful.
Again, it just shows the direction the company's taking. It's allowing them to have that much humour about their own models, which they've historically been really serious about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think, to be honest, they finally noticed that the fourth wall was not only cracked, but in fact shattered long ago. And they've finally started to put their toe over the little line that acknowledges that, you know, the people who play this game are real.
This is true. And let's be honest, as much as I love 40k, it is a frankly ridiculous setting. This is a setting where at some point we'll touch on Blackstone Fortress, but where a bayoneted flamethrower is a legitimate weapon.
Yep. You can put a bayonet on anything. That was like God logic, right?
I mean, chain fists.
Snap a chainsaw to your hands. This is perfect. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
I'm putting a bayonet on the sandwich, Rick. Why? Well, why not? I might get charged.
So the model of the day for me, as an Ultramarines fanboy, as someone who, when I read my first Codex Space Marines in late third, as a wee 10-year-old, 11-year-old, however old was in the early 2000s, Manius Calgar. Oh my god, I had a little squeal moment when that model dropped.
He does look tasty, doesn't he?
I mean, please note the Gene Stealer head just, flopping on the floor.
That's exactly it, a Gene Stealer head, not a Tyranid head. Gene Stealers don't count anymore. Gene Stealer melts my arse.
That's all right. I just thought it was basically symbolic of how Tyranids can never seem to finish what they start.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. We
Shots
wiped out
fired.
most of that world. Most of that world.
Yes, keyword there, most.
Yeah, but that's like, you don't finish a dessert all in one go. You leave it and you savor it. We're coming back for that shit.
You mean, to be fair, it did take the Imperial Navy coming in to save the day and overloading their warp engines and dragging your entire Hive Fleet into the warp.
Yeah, you pay a high price.
Yeah. But, yeah, that model is it's beautiful. My bank balance is already crying.
I must say, I must agree. I'm not normally an Imperial model liker of any kind, but the way they've made him look, he's true to what was his second miniature, where he had like the same pose, but he looked really derpy.
Yeah, I mean, most models, if you be honest, from second edition, there are individual models that are not, but a lot of the models from second do look derpy. But yeah he is very true to his second edition pose. I do have that model somewhere upstairs. And I have the one that was released in 4th or 5th. So
But it was less derpy, but it looked like he was kind of running with his like anime running towards his opponents.
yeah.
Oh god.
We're going slightly anime with Manius Calgar this time. Why? Our designers have watched far too much of it, and they've decided this is a good way to do things.
They've been designing too much Tau recently, and now they're bleeding it over into the Space Marine line.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, that's terrifying. We'll have smooth curves soon rather than angular stuff.
What is this heresy? The other thing I really like with this model is it's not just what the model is, it's what it represents, and the kind of the fact that you can now have older characters, which is something that has been massively missing from the Primaris line, is there hasn't been any heroes. They've had characters and all that kind of stuff, but they've not had a hero.
Yeah.
And now we can see some of the older heroes, the ones who have the emotional attachment, coming over and getting new models.
I both agree and I disagree with that sentiment. I agree with it because it's nice to see that Manius Calgar is still going strong. He has been upgraded to Primaris. He is doing really well, and he's he's doing what he needs to for the chapter, being a hero. But Games Workshop have right now such an opportunity to go right. Fresh heroes, fresh blood, fresh opportunities, rather than just rehashing the same stories over and over. Because at the moment, Marius Calgar, he strides around. I mean, as I say, nothing has the model will miniature the rules. He's a good all-round hero. But you know his story. You look at the miniature and go, right, he is Marius Calgar. He is what he does. He strides around. He beats shit up. He blows shit up. He's a strategist and he's a diplomat.
On the flip side to that, though, what can work just as well is taking old characters that the fans, players, whatever, are familiar enough to know what they do in the familiar situations, and put them in new, unfamiliar situations. For example, a situation where punching it with an oversized fist will not solve the problem. Limited pool there, I know, but they do exist.
I mean, it will solve most problems. It may create more problems down the line, but it does solve your immediate problem. And to be fair, I don't see them putting all characters through this. The law that was coming out of Vigilus is it nearly killed Calgar to be upgraded, so it's not a risk-free procedure, and I think if there are characters they want to get rid of...
Died on the operating table. There you go. That's a nice one for fan unfavourites.
Oh, that's an inglorious way to go, though, isn't it? A Space Marine hero. How did he die? On the operating table. He wasn't even wearing armour. Balls.
I can't see Dante dying like that.
I don't know. You try and turn Primaris and something goes wrong. He's got no choice but to die like that. Yeah. It's good to see as well they've thought about what they're doing. They've already had this Space Marines can be upgraded to Primaris well before they've released a model going, but out of the way, Primaris can just be created from normal Marines. They've actually got it entrenched first, which I feel is quite a new thing for Games Workshop, considering these are the same guys that went, oh, by the way, we found grav guns. And Chaos Space Marines, the guy who would have had them 10,000 years ago, don't have them.
I suppose that's the freedom they've now got. Now they're feeling free to move beyond 999.41.
It is always the 41st millennium, never anything else.
They can now rediscover technology. They can develop new technology, and it can fit seamlessly in the lore.
Well, you can do this thing that I said this to DarkMouse ages ago when it was to do with Age of Sigmar then, rather than 40k. But with all this, Games Workshop is doing what they should have been doing for ages, what everyone who cares about the lore has been screaming for them to do for forever. They're moving story forward. They're not just we have a big stew pot here, and occasionally we bring interesting lumps to the surface, and then we put them back in. The stew remains unchanged, but you find interesting lumps occasionally.
Yeah, it's always on the peak of boiling over.
Yeah. And now, finally, they've taken the lid off, and something's exploded, and it's gone everywhere. And we have no idea what's what anymore. The galaxy's been torn in half. Characters are changing. Fun stuff is happening. New factions are popping up. As you said, new technologies appearing out the window, and it all means change. And for many people, that's a scary thing, because many people are
not Tyranids,
man-boy neckbeards, or idiots, and don't like change. But yeah, personally, I think it's mostly a good thing, or at least it has the potential to bring more good things than the morass we were stuck in.
I think so far we've seen a lot of good maneuvers, a lot of good stories will come out of it. And
I've been having the time of my life. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brand new game.
Yep. Started when the Inari saved the galaxy and moved on swiftly from there.
I can't really disagree with you. You did bring my Primarch back to life.
Yeah, there is that, I suppose. If you want to start throwing around mystical powers and stuff,
I've not actually read. I'm not massively up to date on my codexes, but from what I've been told by other people said, there's a lot of seeds they've planted within the later codexes they can develop. I think the two big points I do know about is the Blood Angels and the Space Wolves. Now,
there's also that little thing about, quite possibly traitor Marine Legion gene seed being used.
Yes, they've not delved more into that. That's
no, I know, but I hope they do, because that would be
Yeah.
hysterical.
I am looking forward to them doing that.
I mean, is it the Sons of the Phoenix, which are totally a Dawn successor chapter?
Yes, absolutely, of course.
I mean, it's not that they wear the colours of the Emperor's children and they're called Sons of the Phoenix
Definitely not.
and have a very similar logo.
To be perfectly honest, the only reason the Emperor's children went Doolally is because the Emperor said, "Don't worship me as a god," and now that's the set rule.
Oh, that was the word.
So I think they'll probably be fine. Oh, that's the word bearers. Of course it was. Yes, I'm very sorry. Emperor's children were the pretty ones. I'm terribly sorry. I got confused.
You could argue it's mostly due to Fulgrim being corrupted by the Leia Blade, which had a demon of Slaanesh into it. Fulgrim, very good book from the Heresy, but it does get a...
Hang on a minute. Isn't that where it ends with him trapped in the painting?
Yes.
Yes.
It does go a bit Dorian Grey at the end, but a lot of that book is...
By the way, listeners, spoilers.
I mean, when did Fulgrim come out? I feel there is a statute of limitation.
I can guarantee somewhere there is someone sat there going, "Oh my god, they've got spoilers for a book I haven't even read yet that I meant to read 3 years ago and I haven't yet."
It was published in July 2007 and is now available on Audible. We are not obviously sponsored by Audible, but if you've not read it, go and listen to it on Audible. It's a good voice actor.
Yeah, to be fair, most of the Horus Heresy books are good reads. It feels like a bit of a slog when you realise there's more than 40 books in the series.
Yeah, I will admit I got tired after book 6. I briefly dipped back in because the cover of one of them was Raboot Gilliman punching Chaos Marines in space.
But fun.
But after that, I kind of drifted off again.
Yeah, I have them as an audiobook, so when I'm doing the washing up or whatever, I tend to stick that on. I've just finished Prospero Burns. That's really good. Did make me want to do a Space Wolves army, which is kind of the point of Black Library.
Yeah.
And I'm just starting to listen to one of the anthologies, which is Visions of Darkness, I think. And the first book of that is it's all about the Ultramarines, and it's kind of, they've not said the word Codex Astartes. Oh, Age of Darkness, yeah. I think it's called Rules of Engagement. It's the first one, and it starts off, it's Ultramarines versus Death Guard, and how the Codex helps them beat the Death Guard, because all of Raboot Gulliman's tactical skill was distilled into the Codex. So this captain with eidetic memetry kind of goes, "Oh, right, this situation plus this is okay." Orders a load of weird orders, and then suddenly they defeat the enemy. It's like, what? How did you do this? That book.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite sure which. It's taken an interesting turn because they're now fighting the Salamanders, and I've not quite got to the end of that chapter yet. So. You'll
understand why in a bit. I remember that anthology. Quite a good series, actually. It has quite a good. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil it.
That's fair.
This is the thing. When you get to a certain point with it, when you get to a certain point with it, you will find there's actually quite a deep message behind it, and quite a
cool. I look forward to it. I have a long drive tomorrow down to Plymouth, so I will probably get a good chunk of it done. Right. After that brief detour into the Horus Heresy novel series, best summed up as they're very good. Go read them.
Yeah, but that leads straight into the next miniature on show, which is the Boring Legion. Black Legion.
Yes. It's an interesting model.
See, I like the model. I don't like the Legion that he represents, because every single one of them that comes out of this is a Black Legion guy these days. It's like there is no other Legion but the Black Legion, apart from, the few fancy coloured ones that aren't black.
It does still carry like the overwhelming sense that Games Workshop is still desperately trying to shake off the filth of Failbadon the Armless.
Yeah.
To be honest, to do that, all they've got to do, I mean, I've seen pictures on Facebook and like websites and stuff of Marnius Calgar through the ages, and then Abaddon through the ages. And unfortunately, Abaddon doesn't actually get any cooler. He just stays the same.
Yeah. He does need a new model.
Yeah, I mean, they may well be waiting for an opportunity to turn him into something more than he is.
I kind of hope. I'm speaking purely from a lore perspective here, because the models don't matter that much to me. But lore-wise, I'm honestly, I've read a fair amount of the lore regarding exactly what Abaddon was up to since, Horus popped his clogs and all the rest of the stuff happened. And I don't know if story-wise they can save him. He's been such a complete twit for ages, and then they yank out of their ass something that they've given no hints of before, that all those 13 failed attempts are actually destroying these magical pylons that hold everything in... anti-magical pylons that hold everything in place. And
yeah, the Blackstone pylons.
that just stinks of, no, he's cool, really. Look what he did. He's cool, right? This is better, right? It's all good now, right?
Yeah, I think that the problem there is it's
too little, too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
because he had to keep failing, because they had to keep Kadir in place, because they had to keep the stewing pot going.
Yeah, but then if you remove Abaddon, who is the post becomes the poster child for Chaos?
Hearken, World Claimer.
Yes.
Well, I think he immediately strikes you as a model that is cool. Yeah, I know nothing else about him, and I already think he's cool.
Yeah.
I think he'd look better as a Night Lord, but no, I take it what you mean. I just that helmet is a very Night Lord helmet.
It doesn't have to be the black. Who's the I've forgotten his name, and that is really annoying. Who's the newfangled champion who took over that planetary system a while ago? The pirate one.
Oh, Harun Blackheart.
There you go, that one. Yes, he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he has a Blackstone Fortress.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
That was one of the bits that annoyed me in the Gathering Storm trilogy. The Rise of the Primarch, where the Ultramarines suddenly get back a Gloriana class battlecruiser, then immediately lose their Gloriana class battlecruiser, and somehow get it back. And it was just needed something a bit more.
What, they needed a Blackstone Fortress?
Maybe not. Just
we need more.
Everybody has a Blackstone Fortress. Why not?
Blackstone Fortress for everyone. One each.
Hive Mind rocks up with a Blackstone Fortress. Why not?
Oh, we're all screwed.
That's all right. Just don't give one to Abaddon. He'll probably send it crashing into another planet.
There are better uses of Blackstone Fortresses than battering rams, but you can't really argue with results. Yeah,
It works.
And there's
it's just a bigger version of the Power Fist, right?
Yeah.
No, I think the model itself, I think Hearken World Claimer could do with being a Night Lord. I think Black Legion is...
He does
they're
look
big
more
enough.
like a Night Lord, yeah.
Yeah, if they'd gone for if they'd gone for another random Black Legion Terminator or Black Legion Infantry dude without the jump pack, they wouldn't have been able to get such a dynamic and striking pose. So they kind of screwed whichever way they go. If they'd gone true Black Legion and gone for an infantry dude without the jump pack, it'd have been static. It wouldn't have been as brilliant. It would have looked kind of dynamic, I guess, depending on what they did, but it wouldn't be that. If they'd gone Night Lords, you'd have a lot of new players going, what are the Night Lords?
Yeah.
Well, it's very simple. You answer them with, they're scary Batman.
Yeah, but the Black Legion is so much easier to understand. Like the Ultramarines, the poster boys for Space Marine Imperials, the Black Legion are the exact same for Chaos. They are the typical Chaos Black Legion.
Yeah, you see, that's almost my problem, because Chaos is meant to be chaotic. When you got these uniform guys in black armor.
I've heard a lot of good things. We're saying a lot of the problems with the Black Legion of the lore. Has anyone here read the Dan Abnett series on the Black Legion? Because I've been told that's very good and does kind of make them a bit more interesting.
Okay.
Dan Abnett is not Dan Abnett.
I'll have a look.
Aaron Densky-Bowden. Sorry, I got my Black Library authors.
Right.
He's very, very good author.
I shall have a look.
So how are people feeling with this campaign books they're going to start releasing for 40k?
I think the Vigilus Defiant campaign book looks interesting, and it smacks very much of the Horus Heresy campaign books in Forge World.
I mean, that's if you read the community article, that is exactly where they've taken their theme and the classic kind of Codex Armageddon and Codex Eye of Terror, that kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't really look like anything especially new. I've seen stuff like this before. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's just not a new idea.
The only thing I'm worried about here is that at the moment, the people involved in it are limited to Orcs, Eldari, Genestealer cults, Space Marines, and Chaos Space Marines, and by extension, probably Chaos Demons. So you've got a very limited number of factions that are involved in that. So if you're not involved in a gaming group that really has a lot of those in it, it's likely, depending on its content, all we know so far is just those factions are involved in it. Depending on its content and how malleable it is, this book will probably not be for everybody.
It won't. I mean, from what was coming out the weekend was this is the first of a series of books, and whilst the Imperium is going to be in all of them, the other factions will rotate out. So I kind of like the idea, but that not all the factions are there on Vigilus. I don't know if anyone remembers the Medusa 5 campaign a few years ago, where they had kind of pulled from their arse a reason for every major faction to be there. And
I'm not saying that every faction has to have a stake in Vigilus.
Well, that's the thing. If they all did, you'd have a grade A cluster on your hands.
I'm just giving like a disclaimer. So this, if you're picking this up thinking, oh my god, I'm a
Tau player.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying not to say Tyranid. I'm a Tau player, and Vigilus looks amazing. This must have really good stuff in it. The rules must be amazing. And you pick it up and read it through, and you go, it's good, but it doesn't actually have anything for my army. That might be a 30 quid book you just dropped.
That's fair. The other thing that I felt was particularly interesting, one of the rumors coming out, is the return of formations in a way. So instead of it being, you could only take a scout squad and a land speeder squad or whatever it would have been, prescribed units. The way it now works now is you buy a formation for your detachment.
I am so glad you brought this up, because I have seen this ranted about on nearly every website I've visited. People do not like the return of formations. And why would they? Obviously, it's the exact same as 7th edition, whereby you got free stuff for just having the models in your collection. Clearly, paying command points is not the same, right?
Yeah,
definitely not a way of balancing it. Absolutely not.
No. Again, we are discussing rules that no one has seen yet outside of playtesting groups.
So all this is mainly speculation.
Yeah,
but I like the idea of the special formations. I hated formations in 7th edition. It was pure, just money pushing. It was gouging. It was, if you want these special rules that you're going to need to play the game well, you must have these models. If you don't, buy them, because if you don't, you'll suck.
And it's also, from what I've had it explained to me, is so you have your patrol detachment, and then you buy veterans of the Indominus Crusade, and that will upgrade certain units within your force. So if you have, I don't know, an intercessor squad and a tactical squad, the Primaris, because they've got the Primaris keyword, will get some special rule, but the tactical squad won't.
Yeah, and I like that. I like rewarding the keyword stuff. I think the keywords thing is the best thing they could have ever done for you.
Yes.
It gives them so much more scope. I mean, their design space as a result of it is so huge. They can do stuff like this really easy, rather than having to say, these many units can benefit from this, and have 3 pages just for the units that can benefit. You've instead got, right, here's a keyword of benefits. Have fun.
Yeah.
And that again, we'll probably end up discussing this when it comes out, because I'm fairly sure I'll be picking it up, and I doubt I'll be the only one in this chat. Then rolling down to Urban Conquest,
now
the return of city fights.
This I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, you've been chomping at the bit all night, Danny. So
yeah, this I can. Any player will probably want to pick this up. If you like playing 40k games, but you find just one-off games getting a bit stale, this will probably refresh that for you. It's a really intelligently designed modular map-based campaign, whereby it looks like, from what I've seen, you've got your usual hex basement. Who remembers Planetary Assault?
Yes, I always wanted to pick that up. Planetary Empires, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah.
The plastic tiles. I have the ones upstairs somewhere they gave away free in White Dwarf. That might have been for Mighty Empires, but yeah, I have.
Yeah, those hex tiles are amazing, and it made a map-based campaign really cool and really simple to run as well. You just put a flag in something. It looks like this takes it a step further forward, and each hex kind of has like a pocket on it, and you can put different map territories in it. And so you're fighting over. So you're not just fighting a one-off battle. I beat you, I get this random arbitrary hex, and I get to colour the outline or whatever we're doing to mark it out as mine. But instead you get like a...
I have defended the Imperial, the Adeptus Ministorum shrine from the heretics, and now I get this bonus. Yes, yeah,
absolutely. And that really brings a new level to it, because now you're going, right, so we're going to play a game, and I'm the attacker. Do I want to attack this hex, or do I want to attack this hex? Because now it makes a difference.
No, this is. I went into my local games workshop at the weekend, and once I'd finished gushing about Calgar, this was the one thing I was talking to the guy in the store about, and he said, "Yeah, it's probably coming. Is it early next year? I think there is a date on the trailer." But yeah, this looks very good. Quite looking forward to give it a go.
Just fine. So no, there's no date on the end of the trailer. This is coming soon.
Yeah, I think he was kind of saying, again, this is just some random Games Workshop guy. He wasn't the manager or anything, so he was. I think he said January, but I'm saying that with no evidence to back me up. So
yeah, I think a lot of the speculation we have here should kind of be taken with a pinch of salt. I mean, for instance, I've said the Vigilus Defiant book might not be for every player. If the Games Workshop could well turn around and smack me in the face with it and say, by the way, every faction's in here. So just take what we say with a grain of salt a little bit. Awesome. Not 100% factual accuracy.
That applies to everything we say.
Yeah. we are just three nerds who really like 40k, wanting an excuse to talk 40k. We have no insider information other than wild speculation.
Yeah, well informed speculation. We've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, informed and kind of following the company, and you kind of see patterns emerging. But right, so Genestealer cults, they're coming soon.
Impure. Yeah, I'll be honest. I like the models, but as an army, it's kind of take it or leave it for me. But the models themselves look amazing. Yeah, what I can see happening is these models come out, and because this is a bit of a sideline, so just tell me to shut up if I'm going too far. But with Necromunda being a big thing for a lot of people, these vehicles probably see more use in a Necromunda gang as Ash Waste vehicles than they will do on tabletop as a Genestealer cult gang.
I think you will see them in Genestealer cults because they are very cool models, but I also completely agree with your point. I think in some ways this could almost be the test case for, we know Necromunda is going to get expansions. They're getting towards the end of releasing the main house gangs. I think they are all out now once Delinquents is out. But yeah, this could very well be the prototypes for Ash Waste vehicles. I did say they would look really cool with Orlok gangers. They are the kind of biker dudes.
Yeah. And you can very easily convert these into that. This is the problem I'm seeing, is that as soon as they bring out Ash Wastes, unless they bring out wildly different designs for all the houses, people will be like, I've already converted the Genestealer cult ones.
This is true, but then what I can almost see happening is Forge World releasing an upgrade kit to convert to make conversions easier. But I think we will see these vehicles coming to Necromunda. I mean, Genestealer cults are already in Necromunda, so
yeah, absolutely. So this is a great segue. Anyone who does the Genestealer cult gang, when they bring out vehicles, you're sorted already, mate. You've got your vehicles. You're happy.
However, I will reiterate a very important post I saw on the highly intellectual Grim Dank subreddit. Please, guardsmen, remember, real guardsmen ride horses, not bikes.
Absolutely. So what you do there, Genestealer cultists, is you get some legs. You replace all the wheels with legs, and you have mechanical horses.
I mean, Genestealer cult with centaurs. That would be awesome.
That'd be amazing. Zords. They bring back Zords. Sorry, that's a really old reference.
If you're too young to... I mean, I think we're all too young to remember Zotes actually being in the game, but...
Yeah, I remember the model, though. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So, going from one form of heresy to another...
Oh, Rafford Rapture!
Someone's very excited about this.
Not really. It's got a cute doggy in it. That's about it.
it's an interesting discussion. It just use the word cute, but
yeah. Well, we'll start with Karanak then.
Karanak is adorable.
We'll start with Karanak, I think.
yeah.
It might help to if I say that I like reptiles.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good link there.
That's fair. It's a very nice model. I've said before, I don't think Games Workshop make a bad model. I think that there are models that are not for me, but I can see they are beautifully designed.
See, I like pretty much every model that Games Workshop has brought out, but it's the case of the army it goes with that I don't like. Is the reason why I don't tend to get into a lot of them. Karanak kind of really speaks to me on a... You can tell they've put a lot of effort into it. Every head is different, and not just its crest. One has 2 eyes. Another one has just the 1 set of eyes. Obviously, the other one's got 1 set of eyes as well, and the big head crest. But every head has a different thing it's got going for it.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, because that was what Karanak is. It's a 3-headed beast.
A wizard hunting 3-headed beast.
We also know there's other stuff coming in this the box set, which will be a standalone game.
New Herald of Slaanesh as well.
The Herald of Slaanesh. Oh my god, that is one of the... It's so gloriously fucked up is the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
We did touch on it when we were discussing the
Noise Marine.
The Noise Marine, but oh my god, I just saw it and went, that's awesome.
Is that the one with the harp?
That's the one with the harp. If you've not seen this model, it will be in the show notes. But it's essentially a Herald of Slaanesh with a harp frame, with some poor soul kneeling at the base, and the harp strings are the guy's tendons from his pulled out of his body.
See, I don't know if he's kneeling in front of the harp, or if the harp's been constructed out of most of his bone structure, because I'm fairly sure it erupts out of his palms.
Yeah, it very much looks like he's not supporting the harp. The harp is growing out of him.
Yeah.
I think this disturbs Brad a little bit too much.
It's truly becoming one with your musical instrument.
Slaanesh harp. Man looks up stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, we have at the moment only got potato quality photos of it. But yes, you are right. It does kind of erupt from the guy's hands. But yeah, I think I shared it on our Facebook group.
I think the direction they're taking with that Herald is really cool. It's characterful. It goes back to the roots of what Slaanesh originally was, because the Lair were all musically based, and they were Slaanesh's first conquest, basically. We think that's what we've seen.
Well, besides the Eldar, obviously.
That was less of a conquest than more of a siege.
Eldar weren't conquered. Eldar gave birth to.
Yeah.
And then got eaten.
Yeah.
By what they gave birth to.
That's what that is. Yeah.
I know one of our friends is discussing making a Slaanesh themed band.
Oh god, yeah.
I think that would look fantastic. I really do hope she gets around to doing it, because that would.
Well, it has to look fantastic, but it also has to look, what's the word? So fantastic that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
That's Slaanesh.
I know.
I like so overwhelmingly gorgeous that it goes full circle and comes right back out at disgusting.
Yeah.
I like the direction the model's gone. They could have very easily just gone for another tall, lithe, skinny girl with their boobs out. And they didn't.
Well, it's Slaanesh, Danny, with their boob out.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's usually a plural when I say it, so, natural inclination. I do apologise. But, they didn't take that direction, and that shows...
Yeah, I will admit, it is nice to not have another white and purple naked lady with crab claws. That is true.
That is very true,
just a white and purple naked lady with crab claws.
It just shows a lot of personal growth from the design team and Games Workshop on the whole, that they are at least a little bit moving away from the whole Slaanesh is all about sex. Because if your kid goes, I want to get into Warhammer, and they come back and go, I found the perfect god for me. Look, mummy, this is Slaanesh.
Yeah,
Everyone's going to be impressed.
I mean, all the gods are a little bit f***ed up, but then that's kind of the point of chaos.
Yeah, but Slaanesh is the worst.
Yes, but Slaanesh is only the one who takes the word f***ed up literally.
Yeah, yes. Slaanesh is the only one that is truly not safe for work. it.
Yep, because pile of skulls, fine. Guts spilling out, fine. Insane crystallization, demons splitting into more demons, fine. But the hint of a nipple.
You'd be surprised what offends people these days.
So, moving on to the next model released at Vigilus, the Warbringer Titan.
Well, that's a big penis extension, isn't it?
I was about to say he's got a large coming out of his head.
It's alright, the banner makes up for it. I hate those banners. I hate them.
Oh god, they do look remarkably stupid. That
It's
is
ridiculous. They hang banners from everything.
Who hung those on there? And what is they want dangling from his crotch?
That was the one I meant.
I don't know. I mean, it's a nice model. There's bits that I do really like.
Well, to be fair, if you buy the model, I assume you don't have to put the banners on.
No, I think,
or you can clip them off.
You can take them off. Thing is, I love the model. I look forward to seeing it shrunk down and put into Adeptus Titanicus, because that is a game where you can get a Titan and it's an relatively accessible cost. Don't hate me, internet.
well, yes, a Warlord is only 60 quid instead of nearly a grand. So yeah, it is. It's a very nice model. What I really like is the little diorama at the top.
Yeah, the little guy standing on top of it, peering down.
Yeah, I think it's a really little nice diorama moment, and it's very pretty, and that's really cool.
I think they can see everyone's house from up there.
Not for long, though.
No, that house dies. I think the Warbringer is a new step for Forge World and for Games Workshop in developing their range. It's not often you see a brand new vehicle. Considering this is supposed to be between a Warlord and a Reaver in size.
Yeah.
Normally you get, this is a Rhino. A few years later we brought out the Razorback, which is a Rhino with a gun on top. And then a few years after that they bring out the Predator, which is a Rhino, which is a Razorback, which is a Razorback which has guns on the sides as well as the top. And it's a similar
We're
chassis.
slowly attaching more guns to this box with wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that just the Mechanicum?
Well, yeah, it's probably the Mechanicum.
Although I will admit, I am having a major problem with this Warbringer thing, and that's the colour scheme, because all I can really think is Bumblebee got jacked.
See, I actually quite like it.
I like it too, but it keeps bringing me back around to Transformers. I can't help it.
I have to do that now. I don't think I can't. I really hope the Tiger Eyes are a traitor legion, because I couldn't bring myself to do anything.
I think it is. If you look on its is it its left knee? No, its right knee. That is the Eye of Horus. So that is definitely a traitor legion.
True, but the Emperor also had that eye on him as well, because he's got the eagles up and the pauldrons on the top.
Oh, okay.
Because the eye was it's taken from the all-seeing eye of our generation.
Thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it only became the Eye of Horus when they had the sword dropped through it as well.
There is a simple way of checking this, as man looks up on the internet for the second time in the episode.
Hooray!
Tiger's Eye Titan Legion.
We know our stuff, honestly.
It is a traitor legion of the Dark Mechanicum.
Ooh.
Okay.
Danny, you can crack on.
Wonderful. I mean, this will be a long time in the making. I've got so many projects I need to finish. But once those projects are finished, I think Titanicus will become my next thing.
Yeah, me and my brothers were talking about getting into Adeptus Titanicus at some point. I am interested. If they'd released Battlefleet Heresy, it might have been a shut up and take my money moment. But Titanicus is cool. At some point, I might get into it. But
yeah, I think once I'm going to finish a few projects and then I'll get into it. I'll drop you a message when I do, and we'll see if you're in the same position I am at that point.
Yeah. So about 6 years' time, then. Beautiful.
Yeah, probably.
When it comes to the massive things, yeah, I think the limit for me is I've decided I probably need a Wraith Knight.
Ooh.
And that's about it.
That's fair enough.
So, moving on to the final bit of this article, I think. Chapter approved. Lots of interesting stuff coming in Chapter approved from what I've heard. Most exciting reveal for me personally was the character customization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, these are just going to be for open and narrative play.
But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This tag teams very well with Urban Conquest,
Yeah.
whereby you could have a character and you give them a trait. I have no idea how this works, but you could give them, say, a trait from this to customize him throughout your campaign, provided he lives. And, build yourself up a really characterful warlord by the end. And that can all still be done in match play. It just depends on your gaming group. They've obviously only put it in open and narrative play, because if they put it in match play, they'd have to give it points values, and that would be an absolute bitch to balance.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. And I think we are also getting, orc looted wagons are coming in this, so there's a lot of customizable stuff coming in.
Cool.
This year's chapter approved.
I was just going to say, I'm honestly wondering how far the character creation thing is going to go. Are they just going to basically say, start from one of these default, call them champion characters that can be called a wide number of things? Start from a default one of them and add stuff on? Or are they talking proper build from scratch?
I think they will have... You will choose an archetype, so Space Marine Captain, and then you will go from there. I don't think they will... I think to have a full character creator might be a little much.
Yeah, that does seem a little too in-depth for how they're doing it now, so...
I think what we might also be missing from this, actually, is battle honors for your units. So you can level your units up as well.
That is actually... Yeah, I have to spot that bit.
this brings a whole new level to 8th edition and its campaign play. Because previously, if you wanted to play a campaign where your army changed throughout, it would be a case of you play an attrition campaign and everything you lose stays lost. And I've played in one of those. It was horrendous, but that was only because I played Tyranids, and in addition, they hated Tyranids, so what to expect?
But yes, I recall you moaning about that on many occasions.
Oh, really? Oh, oops, I suppose.
Especially when we were playing games.
So moving on to the last bit from Chapter Approved, and it's a bit of a shame our fourth member of our little quartet isn't available tonight, because he is big into his Grey Knights and his Adaptus Sororitas. The first bit, Grey Knights getting a power points reduction. Cool.
Nice for all concerned if they play Grey Knights.
These are two words that every player loves to hear in relation to their army, is points reduction. Because it means they can take more cool stuff.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not a power gamer. I'm a kind of generic, all over the shop gamer. So we'll see. If you play Grey Knights, happy for you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting actually to see a lot of people's feedback once Chapter Approved drops, and see just how it shifts the Grey Knight meta, because it's going to go from like hardcore elite, like almost Custodes type elite level, to probably more on par with Space Marines as it stands. Probably quite on par with Primaris as they stand, actually. Because although they're not as hardy as Primaris, they have a lot of psychic powers.
They're also not getting Primaris.
That would make sense.
That was a comment that came out of one of the QAs from Vigilus. Was someone asked, "Will Grey Knights get Primaris?" And the answer was a very hard no.
Good.
That's interesting. It does make sense, because I.
Well, yeah, you need the completed gene seed thingamajiggy to make them in the first place, don't you? And no one knows where the hell the Grey Knight one came from.
Yeah, and Cole didn't really have access to the Grey Knights at all during the 10,000 years he was doing stuff, because the Grey Knights are relatively new in the 41st millennium.
They've obviously been around a lot longer. I think the first time they kind of step into the open at all is during the War for the Beast, which is about 1,500 years after the Heresy. Another very good book series, from what I've been told, which I do need to read at some point.
Yes.
Adds to your library growing here, Brad.
Yes, well, it's like my list of projects. It grows and grows and grows and never gets any shorter. I mean, I still, at some point, I really want to do a Praetorian army, because pith helmets and red coats in the 41st millennium. Why the hell not?
Oh, dear.
And then the final bit of this article, the Sisters.
Holy Trinity stratagem. That's
yes.
With Bolter, Flamer, and Melter is the foe purged.
It's pretty cool.
I think they are going hard with Sisters, and I'm very excited to see what's coming in Chapter Approved for them. It's been about time. I've always thought the Sisters are a very cool looking army, but they have been let down with I'm not willing to go to the gym every time I want to pick up a case.
Yeah, I think it'll be, from my point of view, because I'm quite interested in the design of the miniatures and the mechanics, the rules, and how they interact. It'll be very interesting to see what the Sisters have, other than they purge things with fire and like beams of light and stuff. What they have that gives them their identity as a stratagem set.
And we've already seen their faction tactic for one of them. I can't remember which order it was, but they basically would get +1 strength and attack on the charge, which is pretty cool.
Sure. So that would reflect their faith, giving them extra strength. I think that's pretty cool. And if they continue down that kind of faith reflected in the rules route, then it'll give the Sisters a really nice, a good feel, a good character feel.
Yeah. Or like you get with Holy Trinity, just stuff that does actually correspond to all the things that they are spewing. Because with Bolter, Flamer, and Melter is the foe purged is a line from one of the litanies in some of the old codexes way back when. And yeah, the strategy that corresponds to that rewards you for shooting up a unit with a Bolter, Flamer, and a Melter.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
And that kind of brings us to the end of our news segment. That went on a bit longer than I was expecting, but then again, we did have a massive reveal weekend, so it's probably not unsurprising.
Yeah.
So what we were going to do is to have a discussion of our journey through the hobby. So let me just checks Google Doc.
Reasonable.
This was kind of a discussion about why are you in the hobby, what do you enjoy, the backgrounds of the editions you've played, what editions you play more of, less of, and how you've seen the game evolve. So, who wants to kick us off?
So, well, you started with 3rd edition, didn't you?
Yeah, so I started back in 3rd edition, back when I was in year 5, so that would have been about...
many years ago, we'll just go with that.
About the turn of the millennium, so we're talking 2000, 2001. I can remember the day we got into it. We all went into town. My younger brothers actually were the ones who first bought Warhammer before me.
Wow!
Their friend had bought some. I think I bought some Thunderbirds things that day, and we came back and they were sat painting them at the table, and I went, "What are those?" And because my dad had bought them, he gave me one to paint, and I painted my first Ultramarine, the old classic 2nd edition style push fit tactical marine.
Wow!
And I then bought the codex, bought my tactical squad, and slowly built from there. I'll be honest, I wasn't particularly good at how to build a good army. For me, 40k has always been about the characters and the storyline. Remember, one of the first models I bought was Manius Calgar, because his artwork in the 3rd edition codex was just awesome. This just absolute beefcake with a pair of fists standing really heroically with a tyrannid skull on his flagpole, and it just, to 10-year-old me, that was awesome. So I then played mostly through friends and the school Warhammer Club, through 3rd, 4th, 5th. Then I went away to uni and met you guys, played a bit at uni. I kind of then drifted out in 7th. Kind of lost track of where the rules were, and just my paint's all dried up and all this kind of stuff. So I kind of fell out of the hobby. Still kept in the lore, because that's what's always kept me interested. And then Reboot Gulliman dropped. And being a massive Ultramarines fanboy, that was kind of the kick that got me back into the hobby. That
the shining light of Big Bobby G.
Yeah, with his flaming sword. And then 8th edition dropped and arranged not quite a launch party, because I think it was the weekend after, because we were all busy on the launch weekend. But we all met up in Reading Games Workshop and played a few games of 8th, and can't remember enjoying an edition of 40k more, to be honest. I think it is a fantastic edition. It's very streamlined. Always looking for the excuse to play it. Also, both my younger brothers play it, which is another thing that's kept me in the hobby. So yeah, that's my journey through the hobby. Currently have a Primaris 11th Company Ultramarines force. That's almost finished. A few bits of tidying up to do. What I will do next, I don't know. But I have recently just bought Blackstone Fortress. I may have been a little bit overhyped for that, to the point that I ended up buying 2 copies. I haven't kept both copies, obviously. I messaged my brothers before I cancelled it and said, does either of them want this? And my brother Josh went, yes. So I sold that copy to him. But I really wanted the in-store promos, and you had to be in-store. I was supposed to be going down the mine that day, so that's how I ended up with 2. And I do not regret my decision to go and get it from store, because I now have a, frankly, beautiful poster of the Vanguard, and I have a warrant of trade, and I'm very happy with this.
Nice. So when the 41st millennium rolls around, you can board ships.
Yeah. I think I may have made that joke when I got it, yeah. And I'm slowly working my way through them. I've got U025 built. I've got Janus Drake kind of built. Oh, they're all built. They're all undercoated, and I'm just slowly working my way through painting them. But yeah, I just think they're really characterful and awesome models.
Yeah, the models themselves look really nice, but I had a conversation for an unboxing review type thing.
Yes, if we go into that now, we'll never escape.
That's very, very true. So, who wants to jump in next with their hobby journey?
I'll have a go. Yeah, I think I came in at a bit more of a different angle to you, Brad, because the models and the painting and everything never really meant that much to me. And to be honest, a large part of that was because when I first started, I was rather young and I wasn't good at it when I first started, so I didn't like it. But what really dragged me in was the lore, just of everything. I think my first experience was I picked up the Tyranid 3rd edition Codex, and just on the cover of that, you got the screaming old-fashioned Hive Tyrant, and I read the stories of how they, when they first showed up and the attack on Macragge and all that fun stuff. Had a wonderful time. And so I wanted to play Tyranids after that. I snapped up a couple of battle, well, what they called the 50 quid then.
Battle Forces.
Boxes. Yeah. That's the one, yeah, them. So I had a load of little models that I took forever to put together. Did eventually, played a few games. Had some fun. My strategy at that particular time was I'm going to move all my guys forward, and if they get close enough to your guys, I'm probably going to win. If they don't, I'm not going to.
I think that was probably a lot of people's strategy when they first got into the game at that age, yeah.
My defense, I was fairly young at the time, and then after that, I kind of drifted away from 40k fairly quickly. My Tyranid models went in a cardboard box and stayed there for quite a long time, because I went over to the fantasy side of things, and I had a lot more fun there, mostly because the lore in fantasy, while it was still just as kind of stuck in place as the lore in 40k, made a much better go of hiding the fact that it was stuck in place. Things were always happening. Things that actually did kind of change the world, just not in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Maybe help because it was just one world, not a whole galaxy. Planetary changing things happen all the time in 40k, but they don't matter.
Yeah, because the galaxy is a big place, but one world isn't. So
yeah. But that was part of the reason why I liked fantasy more. But then, what was it that sparked it? Oh, yeah, I remember what sparked it. I got paid. I got my first job for a little while.
Wow.
I think you were there for this, DarkMouse.
Yeah, well,
when I went into Games Workshop and I just announced I was going to start a Dark Elder army because they looked like the most fun, and spent like 250 quid on various box sets. And
I remember the light in the store.
Yeah, just like, I will take this and this and this and this, for I have been paid. My bank account is healthy. Now to make it dead. But, yeah, so I bought them and I put them together, and I played a few games, and they played very, very differently to what I was used to, but I liked how they played. And to be honest, when I first got them, what edition was it?
That was
sixth.
No, that was
sixth or
just
fifth.
before 6th was 5th edition.
Okay, the one that was really cruel to Dark Elder. They'd been awesome for a bit, then they weren't because they got nerfed. You couldn't get the charge on turn 1 anymore. I came in on that one, so it was actually really hard to make a Dark Elder army work, except in a few very limited ways.
Yeah, but you managed it.
And I did manage it, and I enjoyed managing it, and I didn't consult 1D4chan to manage it either, which is quite nice. And then I felt really disappointed when I finally went on 1D4chan and realised that they'd fought all this up years before me, which was very irritating. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. When 7th Ed rolled around, they became a lot more fun. When 8th Ed rolled around, was that when the Ynnari turned up?
Late 7th was Ynnari.
Late 7th, yeah. Yes, yeah, you're right. Late 7th when the Ynnari turned up. That was an interesting time, because there's only still 3 actual Ynnari models. They just, if you have one of them, you add the Ynnari keyword to everything else, essentially, which is a lot of fun. And when they came out, it was kind of a reverse situation of the Dark Elder, because the Ynnari were ridiculously overpowered when they first hit the scene. They're not anymore. They've been nerfed suitably. But it was a very, very nice taste of power, almost. To kind of lure me back in. So I got the Triumvirate of You Need, which, yeah, I guess I don't normally care about the model quality all that much, but they are very nice models. And very nice on the tabletop too, even if the Yinkan does have a tendency to disintegrate the turn after it hits the field, which is really annoying. But, oh well, never mind about that. But yeah, since then I've kind of been alternating between playing Ynnari and pure... Sorry, it's Drukhari now. I'm going to slip up and probably call them Dark Elder quite a few times.
Oh yeah, they are Drukhari now, aren't they?
They are Drukhari now, yeah.
Lovely trademarkable term.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Brilliant, isn't it? But yeah, I've kind of been switching between them, because the Ynnari do have fun toys, but... Well, all right, no, sorry. The Ynnari have a fun toy. And it's a very, very good toy, but there's only one.
Oh, is this something we should be talking about in public?
I mean, it's the Drukhari, so you know.
Well, I was talking about the Ynnari then, actually. No, the Drukhari have multiple toys in various different flavors, suitable for all ages.
Oh, dear.
No, the Drukhari, the newest Drukhari Codex made me very, very happy when I first got it and just read all the stuff that I could do now. My special favorite is the strategy that can just shut down other strategies. It's wonderful.
Oh yes, the Agents of Vect.
That's the one. Yeah,
I heard that one.
Yes, that makes me feel all tingly, especially when I do it and I roll a 6 and I don't actually spend any points on it. That's wonderful when that happens.
Nice.
I wonder, can you spend a command point to re-roll that dice so you got a better chance to roll a 6?
I'll leave you two. You two are the rules guys more than me, so I'll leave you two to argue that one.
I don't know, and I don't want to get into that now because we'll be here forever. But
I'll
that's been my journey. I went from all devouring murder bugs to a planet somewhere probably in that galaxy that's held up, covered by warp storms or something, and they can't get to it, where magic is real and there are elves and dragons and phoenixes and it's all fantasy, and I like fantasy.
And lions and
And
tigers.
then I
bears,
kind of
aren't
swept back in because, well, to be perfectly honest, I wanted a taste of something different. I got that with the Dark Elder. I did kind of drift away at some point, and then Cadia exploded. The Elder God of the Dead woke up, and the galaxy got ripped in half, and Robot Gorilla Man woke up. So
That's a pretty much a succinct summary of the Gathering Storm storyline. So yeah,
yeah. It's brilliant. No, I had a lot of fun with that, and I had a lot of fun with the high points, like where Jane Zar essentially kicks open a hole in the webway and tells a bunch of Thousand Sons to f*** off. It's brilliant. Yes, that's the main thing. Honestly, I've been waffling about it for a bit, but the new lore and everything means I'm having fun, and well, that's kind of all I really require.
Yeah, that's kind of the aim.
That's what you want from a hobby, really.
Generally, yeah. But yeah, that's my long waffling all done.
I mean, waffles are good, so you can put syrup on them.
All right, DarkMouse, it's your turn.
Cool. All right, where do I start?
The beginning. I hear it's a very good place to start.
The beginning for me is actually a very strange place. I didn't actually get into the hobby properly at the right time. So I first found out about Warhammer when I was at primary school, I think. I just looked over someone's shoulder and they had a magazine out at the time. And it had emblazoned across the top of one page, Warhammer 40,000, in the usual, Aquila with the green lettering.
Yep.
And below it were pictures of really old Space Marines. This was probably way back in, 2nd or 3rd edition.
What, the beaks?
Yeah, and, the really old miniatures and the bolt guns, the different colours. And I went, that looks really cool. And I remembered the badge, the Warhammer 40,000 logo. And later on, I said to my mum, I want to get into this. And she instantly went, oh, it's really expensive. I was like, oh, okay. A few years later, I got into it properly because I got the funding for it. And that was when I got into it, and I got into Tyranids, and it was a trip, or a school trip in secondary school. And I was like, oh, I want to do these dudes, they look awesome. And it was I got a Gene Stealer box set back then, the Tyranid Codex. And at that point, the Tyranids just had me hooked because the one line in the original Codex was, what makes playing Tyranids feel really rewarding? It's the look on your opponent's face when you've deployed your army and they look at it and go, how do I kill all that?
Well, the answer to that is blast templates, but never mind.
Well, yes, but it was still a nice line, and it kind of brought me into the Tyranid fold. And I think I liked the Tyranids as a lore, and I liked them as an army, and I think, unfortunately, they're the reason why I'm not as big into lore as perhaps other people are, because they don't have a lot of special characters, they don't have heroes, they don't have villains, so they are just this all-devouring force, which at that point in time was brilliant for me. I think after that, I went through a few editions, played City Fight, did the whole 5th edition thing, and I branched out, and that was the biggest mistake I ever made. I ended up with a Dark Elder army, a Necron army, various armies. I've still got a couple of the Demons army I've got, actually. But, yeah, I played through 5th edition. Thoroughly enjoyed that. That was a good edition for Tyranids, back before 6th and 7th, I think. There's a lot of customizability. I think that's the other thing that really brings you into Tyranids, is you can go, I've got this army, and your opponent can have the exact same type of units, but arm them so completely differently that the two armies play differently. Drastically. So you got a shooting Tyranid army and a combat Tyranid army. Made of the same basic units, which I think is brilliant. I think their adaptability to anything you can put down is one of their key features. And they lost that in 6th edition. 6th edition was almost the beginning of the end for me, unfortunately. It just went downhill, and 7th edition almost killed it. I'm gonna put that out there. 7th edition had some good stuff going for it. I lost touch a lot after 6th, because when I came back into 7th, there was a lot of campaign supplements, and I'm like, what are these? And I still remember playing my first game in my local Games Workshop store, and my opponent going, right, so I have all these special rules, and I'm like, hang on, how are you getting these special rules? I'm fairly sure the Eldar didn't have access to all this crap when, I played 6th edition. Oh, and 7th edition is just like a bolt-on version of 6th. I'm like, oh no, I got a formation, and that was when I found out about formations.
Ah.
And in 7th edition formations were not good because I looked at them and they went, yeah. All you need to do is buy these the couple of box sets, and you got yourself a formation right there. I'm going, yeah, that's nearly £100. So at that point, that was a low for me, and I basically stopped playing and went to Age of Sigmar. And then 8th edition came out, and there's a video meme somewhere of all these people holding up signs going, "Oh, my army's not horribly broken anymore," and there's these really happy people going, "We're Tyranid players."
Yes, I like that one.
Yeah, because 8th has really brought back the balance that the entire game needs to make every army viable. And it means that I can take any unit I want, rather than going, I can't take Raveners because they're crap, or I can't take this because it's crap. It's like, I can take Raveners, and yeah, they'll probably die. But that's probably because I dip struck them right next to someone's tank and left them there. Oops. But yeah, that's actually quite a short and succinct summary of what I did. But yeah, for me, I think it's my personal journey throughout 40k as such has been full of ups and downs. And in one point, I just didn't want to stick it out because 7th edition didn't make it fun anymore. But 8th edition has made it very fun. I mean,
everyone, the consensus is 8th edition is the best, basically.
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. It's brought back a lot of the cool things that I liked about the armies I had. I mean, the Tyranids have got back their adaptability. They lost it in 7th. It was like, you could have a few different weapon options, but there's nothing so deep as there is now in 8th. I mean, the miniature side of things, I thoroughly enjoy painting. Anyone who's seen my miniatures has seen me spend hours and hours on them and probably break down and cry afterwards.
They are spectacular. We will have to put some of them in the show notes. Danny's is every time.
Yeah, when you see the pictures of the beautiful Tyranids, we're not stealing that from a Games Workshop website.
No, they are. It is a thorough joy to play Danny's army. It's always nice, personally for me, playing against an army that's fully painted. And if you're playing against a beautifully painted army, it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoy. I mean, your army is really well painted, Bradley.
Thanks. I'm quite proud of them.
Yeah, you should be. You get a really nice, good effect very quickly, and that's what I'm jealous of. Is I don't do things very quickly when it comes to painting.
No, you are. I think we've joked several times. You might finish your Tyranids by 2020 if you're lucky.
I think when it comes to when DarkMouse will finish his Tyranids, you just add 5 to whatever year it currently is.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
It will never happen, but the goal is in sight.
Yeah, no, the goal is in sight. I'm trying to do it. It's so hard to do it. It's just difficult because I've bogged myself down with other projects as well.
Oh dear. And then you got poor schmuck me over here who really himself to give much of a crap about painting.
There are different parts of the hobby.
I did try, but at the moment I undercoat and that's about it.
But that's the thing, is that the hobby is so vast and broad that you don't need to really focus on one area if you don't want to. There's no real reason to. Everybody takes the hobby in their own way.
And to be fair, that's kind of what my so when I thought about doing this podcast, mostly it's because I know Mr. Good old Dr. Wilkinson of Tinker Tailor Soldier Sponge. He'll be hosting this podcast. And he said, look, if you want to do something, I can help you out and sort stuff out. But a lot of podcasts I fail, they either just focused on the lore or they just focused on how do you win a grand tournament. There wasn't a nice all-round conversation, which is kind of what I envisioned this being. And I think having someone who's maybe not so interested in the painting side is a good thing to have because it gives us a different viewpoint.
Absolutely, I agree. Because I mean, we all know that you're really quite deep in the lore.
I have value.
Well, so you're like neck deep in the lore, which gives you an insight the rest of us don't have. I mean, like I've said, I've read some of the books. I know a bit of the lore. I've read a couple of the codexes I own, but
I will add the disclaimer that I have not read anywhere near all of the books. I've probably read bits from most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've probably read more than I have as well, though.
But my summation of the lore, a lot of it involves reading wikis.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, I don't read a lot of it.
I don't have the time or inclination to read. I read pretty quick, but I don't have the time or inclination to read 40 books.
Which is fair enough.
As I said, just the amount of books that are released on a monthly basis now from Black Library. I think there's probably at least 5 books every month or so, which is just...
Yeah,
someone needs to stop turning the crank handle.
It's the problem. It did also used to cost me a lot of money because I used to buy every single new codex that came out for both Fantasy and 40k. And I would not be the least bit interested generally in the actual army rules. Occasionally I'd read that, maybe to figure out how to try and beat them if I was going to be playing someone who played them. But mostly it was just I wanted to read all the lore, all the story stuff.
I'd like to point out for our younger listeners, if we have any, big assumption there, that back when we first started with codexes, they're like, 10, 15 quid a pop?
I think, my first codex Space Marines was between £8 and £12. I can't remember exactly.
When I first started, they were all the paperback ones, the kind of very prone to getting dog-eared corners, and they were generally 12 quid each.
Yeah, and they were mostly black and white.
They were mostly black and white. Yes.
Yeah, there was the army section, and the front covers were colour.
Yes.
That was...
And then a bit later, the hardcover ones came out, and in many cases, retconned completely what was in the paperback ones, especially with the poor Necrons.
Yes, but I like what they
completely screwed over.
I also think that is the subject of Games Workshop retconning is definitely a subject for another time because
sorry,
I need to be up early tomorrow morning, and that is a long discussion.
Yeah, that's true. It's a long discussion.
So I think that pretty much wraps us up for our first episode of the AstraCast. Brilliant. Nice. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, DarkMouse and Mataspore. Let us know what you think. We have a Discord, we will have a Reddit, we will have a Facebook, and all those various avenues of communication. When this comes out on iTunes and the various other podcasting apps, please give us a like. Give us some constructive feedback. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like.
Yep. Don't just turn into bad. Tell us why they're bad, and then I'll tell you you're wrong.
Yes, your basic starting premise is flawed. Tyranids are not.
But no, seriously, any constructive feedback, things we could do better, things we could do more of, things you liked that we didn't do enough of, things you didn't like that we did too much of, like speaking.
Yes, what I'm saying is do our job for us.
I mean, not in so many words, but yes, pretty much.
We don't grow as a podcast unless you help us. So,
yeah. And hopefully at some point when we're a bit more settled into the groove, as I say, we do have a Discord. We record through Discord like many other podcasts. It'd be great for some of you guys to come along and join us in the chat and correct us when we make lore mistakes or save me from having to Google, because you can Google it for me.
Or you can be Googled. You can know the answer. Because that would be what you'd be expected to do, is know the answer to these questions. Possibly.
Brilliant. Right. And with that is good night from me.
Yep, and from me.
Good night from me.